that's going to be a shockwave that people don't even expect. Probably people not even paying attention right now. Isn't that right?
I don't think people have been paying attention, and I think people just get bored. They think, oh, that market's not doing anything, and they're not interested. So then they miss when all these markets rocket off. Fascinating moves coming.
All right, guys, hello and welcome. We're honored to have my good friend and trader, Charlie Burton of charlieburtontrading.com. In this video, my friend Charlie is going to talk about an important chart and development that's happening right now. In fact, we've had a major breakdown of support on this key chart, something happening on these key charts which could have a significant meaning and likely outcome for several other charts that are correlated with this as well. So anyway, I know it sounds a bit vague at the moment and rather confusing, but Charlie's going to explain the full details about why this chart and what's happening right now in the major markets that could have, again, significant potential across the board for many other markets. For example, gold, potentially oil, and some of the currency markets like the euro and the pound. All right, guys, join us. Charlie, thank you very much indeed for joining me in this video. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, and just happy to be back on the channel and having a chat with you today.
I've been doing resting after the England win, so I don't know. I keep going back to this. Sorry. Charlie, you mentioned to me on the phone before we got to this interview that there is something happening on some key charts. Like there's one key chart which I think a lot of people are ignoring right now. I think the chart which you're going to bring up, I think there's a lot of people out there who are not even paying attention to it. Most people right now are either watching Bitcoin, it seems, or the stock market, or maybe some people looking at gold, maybe potentially some people looking at silver and metals. But very few people, in my view, are looking at the chart which you're going to show in this particular video. So shall we go into that and maybe you can tell me more about it? And by the way, guys, before Charlie shows his specific charts, make sure you go ahead and check out his special offer on charlieburtontrading.com/LT Gold, or essentially get a chance to join his trading service for only £1 for 30 days, which is approximately $1.30. So make sure you check that out, take it for a test drive, and check out Charlie Burton's trading service. I think you'll greatly enjoy and benefit from it. Again, the full details are in the description. Go ahead, Charlie, go ahead and show your charts.
This is the dollar index. So
Sure.
I've started off on a daily chart here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some of my trend lines on here, which are already here. So I'm going to have to take us out a little bit first of all. So just bear with me. I'm actually going to go to a monthly chart just so that people can see what's been going on here on the dollar index. This is really important because you can see my big horizontal thick blue line here, which is around about 103, where we've had these highs historically, lots of price trading through this 103 zone. And what's happened over the last year is that, as you can see, prices have been trading around it. You know, it's been bouncing off of it and then coming back off of it, but it's not clearly broken to the upside. I think it had its chance to, and it's failed so far. So, and in fact, we're just starting to see things like inflation falling there in the US, and I think that's going to become key here. So. And one thing that we just saw just recently with the falling CPI numbers is the dollar index falling. And so if I now come to a weekly time frame, then you can see this trend line which is rising from 2021 and it's created through here, and we've had some tests of it, and we're coming right back into it and trying to break it at the moment. In fact, if I zoom us down just a little bit more into the daily chart, you can see we're just starting to probe it and break it at the moment. So I'm looking for, of course, we've got, from a technical perspective, this zone that we're really in around 104 at the moment. It's got to try and break that. But if we break that, then I think it's a fairly easy run to this 103. So from a technical perspective, yes, we could bounce in the coming days or whatever, but providing we don't bounce too far, then I'm seeing this as a technical break that will see the dollar index back to 103. But what's more important than that? 103 is one thing. I'm actually looking for the dollar index to break a lot further than that. And if we come down to the monthly chart, I'm looking for us to come back down to 100 and potentially even below that. So some significant moves. So what does that mean elsewhere, So, well, that means that, the likes of the pound dollar should continue to go higher. And in fact, we're seeing clues here.
Yeah.
Because if I take us back to the daily chart, and if we look at the pound dollar, for example, look at that. The pound dollar has just made new highs for the year. This is the weekly chart. It's just made new highs.
Yes.
Closing really strong there on the pound dollar, but the euro dollar's coming up, shrugging off what happened with those French elections. It shrugged all that off because it went negative on the back of that.
Interesting you mentioned the French elections. Were there speculations that if the party that won got in, were there speculations that euro would go down?
Yeah, lots of speculation. Really? So a lot of so from a contrarian sentiment perspective, there was all the macro people out there thought that's it. The euro's going to go back down to parity, and so look what's happening. The euro's way back up at 109 right now. So
the reason I mentioned this, Charlie, is because so many people out there think that the markets are programmable and predictable and linear. Just exactly. I'm glad you mentioned this because there's a lot of people out there who think that the markets work in a linear fashion. If so and so happens in fundamentals and news, the markets will then do this. They think that the cause and effect is news will happen like this. The markets then will do this in a kind of a linear, predictable, human fashion. The way we think of it, in a rational fashion, the way we think about it. But actually, as you correctly pointed out, that is not the case. Markets are not rational the way we think they are. The markets are not linear. They're non-linear. They're chaotic and unpredictable. So I'm glad you brought this up. Thanks very much, Charlie.
So the Australian dollars made new highs for the year as well. So we're seeing some really good runs here. So coming back to the dollar index, why is that important? Because that gives us the heads up on the currency pairs that we may well be trading, whether we're trading the Aussie dollar, the pound dollar, the euro dollar. So, and what does that give us? If the dollar index was to go back to 100, so if I take us back to the monthly chart, if it was to work its way back down to 100 in the months ahead, what does that give us as an idea on what could happen to the pound dollar and the euro dollar? Well, that would put the euro dollar probably at around about 113, 114, so significantly higher than where we currently are. The pound dollar put us at 133, so again significantly higher. There's some levels up here. If I come to the monthly chart here, 133 for the pound dollar is again a big historical zone here. So there's a lot going on with the dollar right now. And if inflation carries on coming down and unemployment carries on ticking up, we could see a continued weakening in the dollar. So that's what I'm looking for. And I think these are fascinating charts at the moment. So it's not just about the dollar index. That's just the index. Then we take that onto the individual currency pairs, and it looks very interesting.
And quite likely, if we could just have a look at the chart of silver, because a lot of our following on YouTube are silver folks. Presumably, a dollar going lower would put upward pressure on metals like gold and silver. So what do you think about silver? Or would that make you rather bullish on silver in the long run, in the long term?
I'm bullish on silver anyway because of this big monthly picture that we've got going on here. But in fact, I'm looking for silver in the big picture to challenge the all-time highs at some point in the future. But this is, again, a very bullish chart. We've broken this trend line here just a few months ago. We've broken above these prior highs just in the last month or two. So again, it's a very bullish chart. So for anyone who's like silver, much like gold, then there's plenty of upside scope. Next resistance is in the 34 to 35 zone, which is these highs in 2012. That'd be the next sort of target zone for it to work its way towards overall. But this is big picture analysis, and there's a difference between big picture analysis because I don't know how long it will take. It could go there in a month, or it could go there within a month, or it could take 5 months. But the analysis suggests that this is a very bullish chart, much like gold, really.
Interesting. Thanks very much indeed. So, Charlie, as we saw, if indeed you're correct that the dollar is breaking support and is now moving lower, breaking trendline support, then that's going to put upward pressure, as we saw in currencies, euro dollar, euro pound, and indeed gold and silver as well. So that's going to be a shockwave that people don't even expect. Probably people not even paying attention right now. Isn't that right?
I don't think people have been paying attention. I think because of the dollar and those currencies, because they're trading against the dollar, they've been basically consolidating for the last year. They've been in small ranges as well, so volatility's gone really small. So, for example, the pound dollar's average annual range is 2,100 pips. All it's done so far this year is about 500 or 600 pips. So it's got lots of scope. It doesn't have to do 2,000, but even to get to half of that, there's still another 500 pips or so. So to do half. So there's lots of scope here. And I think people just get bored. They think, oh, that market's not doing anything, and they're not interested. So then they miss when all these markets rocket off. So I think, a lot of people are not paying attention to it. And yet the pound's already breaking out. The Aussie's already breaking out. The euro's on the verge of breaking out. And so, the dollar index itself is, at the moment on the verge of breaking down. So fascinating moves coming.
Very interesting indeed. Thanks very much, Charlie. Guys, make sure you go ahead and sign up and try out Charlie's trading service. CharlieBurtonTrading.com/LT Gold. When you go on that link, please also apply this promo code LT Gold, where basically the price drops to only £1, approximately $1.30, for about 30 days, 1 month. Go ahead and check it out. I think it's definitely something you'll enjoy, you'll like. And Charlie will explain in a few minutes what's involved, what you get in that service. Go ahead in the description, click on it, and apply the promo code LT Gold to get your discount. Notice the price drops to £1 or $1.30 for 30 days. Charlie, tell us more about what's involved, what people can get as part of your service.
Well, in that, it's a community. So I have an online trading room, and I do sessions every day of the week, 5 days of the week, Monday to Friday. We cover training sessions, technical sessions, news-based sessions when there's economic releases. And I've got very senior traders as well, with anything up to 35 years trading experience in my community. So it's a serious community for people who want to trade. We do a lot of trading on FX, but we do look at obviously the stock indices, and we look at the other asset classes as well. But it's first and foremost FX, but then stock indices, gold, silver, oil. We're looking at all the major asset classes. But it's great if you want to be part of a community where we're analyzing day in, day out, and training on all the little technical aspects of the way that I approach the markets. Then check it out.
Charlie, I've seen what you do in your trading service, and I think it's fantastic. And having known you for nearly 20 years now, guys, I think that if there's one person I would deeply trust when it comes to trading and chart analysis, it is definitely Charlie Burton. That is why we have him on, both in our YouTube videos and in our member videos. So again, if you haven't yet tried Charlie's service, I would definitely suggest it. Take it for a test drive. I think you'll find it's definitely worth it. And again, the link for you guys in the description, CharlieBurtonTrading.com/LT Gold. Again, apply the promo code LT Gold and you get the discount to £1 or $1.30 approximately there. Thanks very much, Charlie. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.